Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, with a player ranked #1 in the world by Dark. The final boss in the red, it's Dark. On the other side, his former teammate and greatest rival. In the blue, the smiling assassin, it's Hero. A best of 3 Protoss versus Zerg showdown. We've seen it before, I'm certain we'll see it again. A matchup whose most predictable aspect is its unpredictability. All I know is it'll likely be something entertaining. One thing I can predict, though, is of course humbly asking you to like. If you haven't made it there yet, it'd be awesome. You could subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we... What do you mean I'm not humble? I'm the most humble person I know. 1,352 likes on this video, on this cast. And I'll cast another one. I'll probably do it anyways. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. Hero versus Dark. This matchup is not Protoss versus Zerg. This matchup is Hero versus Dark. As these two know each other so well, the last major 2v2 tournament, Hero and Dark as a team beat Cyril and Oliveira, who probably two of the best individual players outside of them. But so they know each other, and Hero is the only Protoss in the world with a better than 50% win rate against Dark, which is quite an accomplishment in and of itself. Hero getting... Wow, he actually misses the spore trick there, loses 3 drones. Oracle coming in for more. The revolving door of drone kills, 6 kills between the Adepts and an Oracle. So good damage early, kind of puts Dark in an odd spot to start things off. He's got a handful of lings coming across the map. Well, assuming you have relatively large hands, as I can only usually fit 1, but not nearly enough to deal with the Adepts. So Dark, he's got 3 bases, he's got plenty of queens, of course, and is building up the spores, so no intent on just YOLOing across the map at the moment. The Void Ray to light things up, looking for... actually was rallied across on the Oracle rally point. Wasn't going for the Overlord, and that actually might cost him a bit, as he's not going to be able to deny the Ovi quite in time. Yeah, the Void Ray sent out along the Oracle pathing means he doesn't kill the Overlord in time to stop it from scouting the Twilight and the Forge. Very important to confirm that. Now we'll see if Hero gets any silly ideas about canceling these things. I mean, he's going Twilight and Forge. That's the most expected possible tech path after this. The build that Hero himself pioneered. But he hasn't yet committed to Blink and Plus. Okay, well, there's the Blink and +1. It's going to be exactly what Dark thinks it will be, though the Void Ray, recently something added in just to add that little bit of a question mark on what you're up to. That Overlord likely would have died to something like a Stalker anyways, but the Queens, politely yet firmly, ask the Adepts to leave. And +1 melee is the choice. So mass Zergling Baneling for Dark, who's forced to delay... Oh, get off my tree! You were supposed to be watching the 3rd base, Susan! This isn't on me. This is not my fault, Brenda. Well, the Zerglings will eventually get the Adepts. Only 3 kills, slight delay on the base, but Hero's 60 probes already. He has not been stingy with them. He hasn't delayed anything in order to get production, but instead really focused on getting the economy. In fact, looks like he's headed towards a 4th Nexus, not too far behind Dark's 4th base himself. So, Dark taking a 5th, not to be outdone, of course. Though he doesn't know about the potential Nexus in the top right corner here, behind that little mineral wall, but... Alright. So, despite the intense skirmishes, the will they, won't they of the early game, neither side committing to any sort of all-in attack. 62 workers for Hero, only 54 for Dark, but he's adding on 2 more hatcheries, and just general tech as the Roach Warren is finishing up. So, that means he's adding more and more drones. Should be evening out around 70-ish. Unless he wants to go all in on lair tech, which I doubt. +1 melee about to complete. The rock's being taken down, opening up some avenues of attack. Thin ones, but more than enough to slip Zerglings through, as demonstrated here. Now the Zerglings finding something they want to get to know better. Oracles light up, drive them away. There's already 60 Zerglings and counting on the map. Stasis wards. There's one more on the back. Catches 7-8 lings. 22 more in production. Infestation Pit is already on the way as Dark is rushing up towards Hive Tech. Growing the tech tree like bamboo right now. As Hero. What? Ah! Zerglings! Well, the Zerglings get by, and you see it on the minimap. Hero not notorious for his lack of consistency with wall-offs. And Dark maybe looking to exploit that, but the Zerglings in every base they can get a hold of. The Robo itself, he's going for the Cyber Core. Knocks out the robotics facility. The Cyber Core not quite dead yet. The Oracles will light up and stop any more of the damage from being done, at least for now. But the Zerglings can outrun anything, even the flying units there. 11 Overlords on the way. Fleet Beacon starts for Hero, deciding to take a completely different angle. Did he cancel He canceled the Robo Bay and just went for a Fleet Beacon behind, so swerving from the most intense anti-ground all the way up into the skies. As very likely to be carriers then. So, Dark on an entirely different tech path. The Zerglings are just fighting the Zealots straight up. And not a great trade for the Lings. But keeping Hero busy as he gets up towards Hive Tech. Is he gonna go Ultras right off the bat? He has the economy. Dark, 76 drones, but he has the rich Vespine base as well. There's the Ultraless Cavern immediately. Ultras against Protoss, a risky proposition, right up until you realize he took out the robotics facility. So Immortals will only exist in the hearts and minds of the Protoss, and, well, that's not going to be enough to stop him. A Zealot and a Void Ray trying to hold the Watchtower, not going to be enough. Queen even driving the Void Ray away. A Mothership, which is quite a Hail Mary in and of itself. It feels like almost nothing has happened, but Hero, and by almost nothing, I mean Dark has kept Hero anchored to his base repeatedly. Banelings roll it in, but now Hero on the run from his own base. Gonna get through the cannons. The Banelings driving things away. Yo, whoa! The probes! Oh, gets 5 of them. Hero looked like he was just gonna turn those probes around before cleaning up the Banelings. Not Hero has probes to spare at the moment, but a couple more of those and suddenly things get a lot dicier. Charge lock counterattack. Not too much back at home to defend. +2 attack done for both sides. +2 melee and ground weapons for the Protoss. 3 carriers have arrived, but Hero, there's nothing. What happened to the Cyber Core? I don't know if Dark took it out or Hero was just opening up the wall himself, but I'm gonna assume Dark ripped it down. He's got Zerglings in the main. He's got Zerglings in the 4th. And he's going to spot the carriers before they've arrived. Cybercore has to be rebuilt. The air up... Oh my god, he denied +1 air weapons. Hero built it in the Adrenalings here. That he might have to use Mothership cloaking to save his base. Not this one, at least. But the Mothership is spotted. The anti-air right now is 6 Queens. There's 100 Zerglings on the field. And Dark is not stopping. More Zerglings coming across the map. The Ultraless in production. Chitinous plating is on the way, but he doesn't really need it to chew through these Zealots. He's not even bothering with anti-air. If there are no buildings left on the ground, then at the end, it doesn't even matter. I don't think that's a real sustainable strategy. But Dark right now still gets a few more and tries for an Archon, but he rips them apart before they can be merged. The Templar getting nothing. The Zerglings are everywhere. Into the main, into the natural, into the 3rd, and another wave is on the way. The carriers do not... There's no detection. He's got 2 oracles for Revelation. The Robo died, and Dark. And that was all it took. He took out the Robo, and now he's taken this total control of the game. There's no detection. There's no way to stop the Ultras very efficiently. even with the carriers, they're just going to give a deep tissue massage to the Ultras, as opposed to actually damaging them. With that much armor and no weapons upgrades, those interceptors are pretty close to doing minimum damage, which is actually 0.5 per hit. I don't think it's quite there. I think you need like +2 Carapace in this case, but... Oh, the probes, 30 probes dead. And Dark, he... just still sending it across. The Zerglings are ripping apart the Nexus, and they will get it. That 4th base, which Hero took so boldly earlier, has been ripped to shreds, I say. And he doesn't even care. His anti-air will be Infestors and Queens. Well, Hero still has a fearsome army. The anti-air is literally 10 queens and whatever infestors he puts together. But you do need a base still. Dark refuses to let Hero come across the map until he literally has nothing left at home. Once there's no home to go back to, well, that's a lore-accurate interpretation of Protoss in StarCraft 2. And Dark at 200 supply takes out another Ultra. Burrowed there, but... Another wave! 3 more Ultras, 20 more Zerglings, and the Queens are gathering. Hero has to come back yet again. And at this point, what is there left? He gets into the main. Templar Archives targeted. The Nexus, the gateways, the Zerglings being sent across. Everyone here? Susan? Yes, Lucille? Edna? Jennifer? It's been a while. Brenda? Hello, Brenda. Hello. Yes, I know. Well, the Queens, full energy. There's really nothing for feedback. And Microbial Shroud against the carriers. The Queens with the armor will hold it together with the transfuses. The Ultras underneath bundle onto the Interceptors. And the Queens are easily shaking off the Interceptors as they march forward. Oh my! Hero has not just been beaten, he's been almost humiliated here. As the Queens themselves, the carriers have no weapon upgrades, so those Interceptors are slightly more annoying than a swarm of angry flies. And even that, another Microbial Shroud. Stasis taken out. And they're just walking right through to catch the carriers. Hero. Oh, it's time. All right. I don't know if you know where the G keys are on your keyboard. There's only one key, actually. But not that. Now that's a bit pedantic. Meanwhile, the Ultras, he has to cloak in order to save his base. He's running out of buildings. The Queens and Spore Crawlers here. Hero still has barely enough money. The Queen count has been reduced somewhat. But the Interceptor count is under 18 and dropping. And the building count isn't much higher. Dark, with a comprehensive, dominant victory in game number 1. And even with Ricky, the accidental swarm host, in production at the end. That is such a Dark production tab. 5 Queens, 5 Infestors, 10 Lings, and a swarm host. While he's busy killing all the buildings. Who needs a Spire? I'm certainly inspired. As Dark, with a decisive victory in game number 1. Wow. That was more one-sided than a Mobius strip, as Hero unable to recover. He tried to swerve out of the robo into the carriers once Dark took it out, but wow, Dark did not really let him find a lane by the time it all ended. That was, well, how do you counter 12 carriers? Dark says, we'll simply kill all their buildings. That's not helpful, but really, no. Did I stutter? I didn't. Dark up 1-0. Going into game 2. Hero walls off with a pylon, which allows you to get that wall up quicker, scout a little bit quicker, potentially block the natural, which he did. Does that mean I think it's a good idea to give a greater opportunity for Zerglings to get into the base later on? What do you think? Dark. Dismantled. Ripped to shred. Microbial Shroud finding its ideal use case, which is when you can force a fight and they don't have storm. The reason you don't usually see Microbial Shroud is because you don't usually see units like Queens on the ground all clumped up like that. Because in a high economy game, that means they likely have storms, feedback, archons. But in this particular case, when all you have to do is win the fight once, the Microbial Shroud has so much value. And because he took out the Cyber Core and the weapon upgrades, God, the carriers are so sad. Tempest probably would have been a better choice in that specific scenario, but not particularly great against the Zerglings. I wonder, because he didn't see the carrier switch. Here's the thing. He took out the Robo and then he just went all in on the Zerglings. Did it matter? Like, if he had rebuilt a Robo or gone for carriers? I don't think it would have changed much. In fact, if he had gone for a ground army, then that's a much more direct counter. But... well, we're going to start things off very similar. The Void Ray does get the Overlord in a timely manner this time around. Ooh. Triple gate. Is this... Glaives. Hero going to fall back to one of those Protoss builds that is still lethal when unprepared for. The Glaved Adepts have never gone away. They've just faded out of the meta somewhat. We'll see. +1 melee. If Dark doesn't have a Roach Horn, technically you can defend this with Zerglings and Queens. But, practically, that makes things difficult. A Baneling Nest is on the way. I'm not sure what prompted it, but the Baneling Nest also covers your bases against charge lots as well. Not so great against the Blink Stalkers. But remember, these two have played something like 500 professional matches against each other. And I have a countless amount of ladder games, I'm sure, as well. Or practice games. Well, kind of interchangeable there. Dark's already building Zerglings, anticipating something. He didn't see the Twilight, right? He did not. And that lack of info is info in and of itself. He's already building. He's not building Banelings, which means he's not sure if this is Blink or Glaives. He's pretty sure now, as the shade is thrown. And the Queens are caught immediately, but tanking some of the damage. Banelings on the way, trying to cover for the Queens. Actually doing a great job of it so far. The Banelings are nearly completed. The Adepts cancel the shade at the last moment. And going to get some damage, but the Banelings are the real threat. With the Banelings there, Hero's unable to shade through, but he's got 60 probes. He's sending in another wave of shades. The Queens, now poking and prodding, putting a timer on these Adepts, though. It's a pretty long one if they're on their own. A single Oracle to back them up. Shades every which way, but Dark has found an opportunity. He's only got 50 drones right now. So the big Ling Bane timing is coming across the map. Oh, Dark. The counterattack must do damage. Hero. He's not watching. He's looking at the other side. He wants to kill Dark Space, which means he's going to lose 9 probes on his side of things. And oh no, he lost the Adepts as well. Oh. The Banelings came around. The Adepts loses the vast majority of them. Actually, no, he lost every single Adept. Melted by the Banes, ripped apart by Zerglings. It doesn't really matter. The only place they are now is the unit's lost tab. And Hero. Superficial damage to Dark, who already didn't have much of an economy, while being in a very awkward spot. And Hero, he has a pylon at the wall. And that means the Zerglings might get enough surface area. The force field is late! No! They're already inside! Oh no! But then Dark hits the rocks for some reason for a moment, but he refines inspiration. Some more sentries swept in. 9 probes dead. Hero still has a worker lead, but busts right through the pylon. And now the Zerglings are in the main in record time. Here we go again. But Dark, remember, doesn't have a massive economy behind this. He can't just transition into ultras. He needs to get damage done. And right now, Hero, this is salvageable. The Zerglings into the third. Force field, optimistic. Cannon is well placed. 18 probes dead, but Hero's still been rebuilding probes for better or for worse. Which means Hero down 5 workers now as Dark has finally decided to start droning up. He feels like the damage he did was worth it. It's been enough. And that means, well, kicking and screaming will be dragged into the later game. Was it enough? Because Dark, well, he has 4 bases going on 5. Hydras are on the way. The Oracles may be able to find a drone or 2, but one's already badly bruised and the other one's low on energy, dealing with the defense back at home. The Zerglings come in for another wave. But Hero has set up his base well now. What about the natural? That's a gateway. Smart move. But Dark will have the production of 5 bases. Once he has the Hydra count up to a... you need strong double digits. 15, 20 Hydras. And that's when it becomes almost impossible to get damage done with the Blink Stalkers. Anything below that number, and they can still work with it. Is charge done? No, not even started. So therefore, maybe they charged too much for it. Stasis at the back. Just a few Zealots mixed in. +2 melees on the way. +1 armor. Hero still has a Twilight. He's just working on with what he can get. Stasis at the back saves the Banelings from exhausting themselves on the Stalkers, but Hero has a lot of Blink Stalkers here. Another wave of Zerglings coming in, 40 in the production tab. The Queen's pushed into the front, try to target down the Oracles. Some of the Banes are about to come out of stasis. The Banelings absorbing more Stalker shots. Stasis completed in just a couple seconds. Dark will be able to fight with it. The Banelings come out. Takes out 1 Oracle, another one very badly bruised. +2 melee and +1 ground armor, respectively, going to be finishing. And Hero looks like he wants to continue the aggression. He hasn't built a probe in quite a while. 58 to 55 workers. Dark triggers the stasis, but gets a lot of Zerglings caught in it. And the battle back and forth will continue. The Hydras, the Lynx, muscular augments is still about 20-30 seconds out. Those Hydras unable to maneuver quickly enough to chase down the Blink Stalkers. But once they're done, and that'll time out almost perfectly with the stasis. It's a little bit. The stasis will time out a little earlier, but now Hero has enough. He's got 32 Stalkers. There are 19 Hydras on the field. Muscular Augments is now done. Dark has to build just mass Zerglings. The counter damage isn't there. He has to fight this heads up. If he doesn't have Zerglings in front, the Hydras can be picked off one by one. And he blinks back and restores those shields. Hydra's coming up, trying to take out any Stalkers here. Will get several. But neither side has made workers in several minutes. The back and forth continues, right on the edge of the creep. Dark trying to make maximum use of his creep, while minimizing the opportunity for Hero to strike back. Already 260 Zerglings have died in barely 11 minutes. Another wave warped in. It's just a proxy pylon. There's not even a gate here. It's a slow warp-in. There isn't charge. It will be decided by this fight. Do or die. Dark down 10 supply, but he's got Hydras in a defensive position. He's got the Zerglings trickling through. So important to have all that hatchery production. Oh, the Hydras. Some of the Stalkers on the left side. Blunks forward, but the Banelings will crash in. The Oracles are dead. The drones are pulled off the line. This is it. Try to target down the Hydras. The Zealots taking a lot of damage. The Blink Stalkers forced back. Hydra's chasing down, but Stasis catches a bunch of them. Gets a few more Stalkers. 6 drones die. Dark's economy, there's a Queen at the back. But as the unit count thins out, Blunk's forward. Looking for more. He chases it down. And Hero in position to turn it around. He's waiting on the stasis. The Zerglings are coming out. Having this many hatcheries is helping out so much right now. And actually, the Hydra count looks like it's just barely enough. The Stalkers will be forced back. And Hero not quite able to break through. Dark with that extra hatchery to the north for production. Not even as an economic move, but in order to produce just enough Zerglings. Dark has lost 15 Hydras. Hero's lost 50 Stalkers. Of course, the Zerglings are doing what they need to do, which is cover for those Hydralists. Oh, there's no recalling out of this one. If he tries to recall out, he's just going to lose half the Stalkers anyways. Trying to trade. But Hero lost the critical mass of Stalkers. The Hydras are just chasing them down. Pin cushioning the Stalkers, and then only 4 remain. Dark, man, he pulled the drones at the right moment. He forced Hero to choose. And it seems like Dark made the right call, and Hero right now, the left one. The Zergling still chasing, but this is getting more and more desperate. The supply dipping every time. Hero just assuming Dark has the economy for this. I think Hero expects Dark to have like 70 drones. But no, he's just maintained so many Hydras. He's been able to carry the momentum in Dark again. Oh, in a game that looked like Hero had a grasp of. Instead, Dark will rip it away. And Robo Bay's halfway done, but Banelings, if Dark was able to fight with that many less Hydras against Stalkers, now it's just a desperate situation. He doesn't have Bane speed. Well, I lied. All right, he finished Bane speed at some point between the last time he came in with the Banes. But now Dark has returned to the third base. And this time, I don't think it'll survive it. Dark 2, Hero 0. A decisive victory for the final boss in an absolutely slugfest of a series. But it looked like Dark in a different weight class this time around. Hero's so close with the Blink Stalkers. But that brings us to our bonus series with 2 players you may very well recognize, Dark and Hero. Yes, we have the series. They played like 2 days before this. They played in another tournament in a best of 3. And I thought it would be amusing. And also, it's a much shorter series, so I don't know what that means. But I thought it would be interesting to take a look at how that goes as well. Oh, but Dark. Oh, Dark. Again, he's done it again. Makes Zerglings and Ultras look like the best units in the game. Queens counter carriers. Oh my, I mean... Well, we're on Ghost River. Entirely new series, entirely different day. Same 2 players. I mean, I could probably just continue this video for several hours of Dark versus Hero just to catch up since the last time we had a series. They've probably played half a dozen times. And that's kind of what I mean. Like, that game could have ended either way. Game 1, that was Dark's to lose. But Game 2 could have ended with the initial Adept Glaives. It could have ended with the counterattack. Could have ended with the Blink Stalkers. But instead it went back and forth for almost 10 minutes. For every one of those games, though, we have one where one of them just gets the better of the other, and things are much more concise. I'm not sure. All I know is this series is much more concise. I don't know what that means, because that would be spoiling myself way too much. But hopefully you enjoyed. And we're here to confuse people who jump in and be like, did Dark have another draw? I wouldn't put it out of the question, but I don't think I've seen... There may be 2 ever in the history of StarCraft 2. 2 draw games that didn't involve Terran floating their buildings. Or at least involving Terran and the knowledge that they could float their buildings, which sometimes factor into whether people decide to agree to a draw or not. Because, of course, the most crazy game, I want to say it was Parting versus the opposite of Death, where the game ended with like a spore crawler and an unburrowed and a cannon or something like that. And don't ask me to figure out what game that was or when, because I barely remember it myself, but that is one of the very few scenarios, because a spore crawler cannot kill a cannon, but a cannon, of course, can't chase down a spore crawler, so if you're left with just that, and then I'm assuming there was maybe like a phoenix or something, I don't know. It takes so many different stars aligning just to get even close to a draw, ever. Like 1 in 10,000 games. And like 3 times as rare without the Terrans in there floating to the corner mechanic. But here we go. I want to reiterate that this series was played before the match we just watched from the GSL, so I'm interested to see, but only a couple days. So these pro gamers who play each other all the time, I do wonder, and I'm reasonably sure they knew they were playing each other in GSL as this series was played, so. Now, how much does that factor in to the mind games? How many levels deep are we going? How many Leonardo DiCaprios do we need to tell us? As many as possible, I guess. But a lair? But he built it at the 3rd. I don't know if he was trying to hide it from the Oracle. It's going to be Glaive Adepts. There is no Roach Horn on the way. Alright, the Stasis. There is no Baneling Nest. Uh-oh. Hydralisk did. Hydra Rush. Well, he's throwing a ridiculous amount of shade. 15 Adepts versus 11 Zerglings. I don't know, there's some queens here. Is he? Okay. Well, the queens. Brenda, where is everyone? We didn't think you'd do a build this old. What? This build is almost as old as you! Well, that's rude. You're not wrong, but you're out of line. Susan. Oh. Alright, so the game just kind of ends. Okay, so now with this knowledge, this prequel knowledge, that Hero did almost exactly the same style of build in a tournament just a couple days before, makes it much more clear Dark's response. Wow. Hero he hid the Adepts until a huge number of them, which is a bit risky because that gives them more time to respond if they suspect it, but also has the potential to be just a straight up knockout blow if they don't. So a higher risk, higher reward. I like getting the backstory, the lore of this like prequel series here. As now, well, Hero up 1-0. Walling off with the pylon at the natural. Probe, flirting with the minerals. Making the minerals say, actually, I'm taking drones. You don't want to mine here. All right, I've already got a hot date with a probe. And then the probe, of course, somewhat ironically ghosts the minerals before it even finishes mining them, which is considered very rude. That's why they call it getting blue mineraled when you're left hanging like that. Zergling's trying to outmaneuver the probe. Probe. Quite slippery. Surprisingly, they butter him up beforehand. Where did they get the butter from? That's a question best left unasked. Adept. Trades out with the probe. Shades across. Taking a look. Confirms the third. Oracle will be the choice. We'll see if the Void Ray follows it up. But if he does, the same sort of blank timing. Now, I'm going to be very disappointed in Hero if he literally telegraphed his builds just 2 days before their GSL match. And Dark's like, well, now I know. Even if Hero ends up taking this, then... Because this is a weekly tournament. I believe this is Korean StarCraft 2 League. Which still, tournament of great repute. But it's not the GSL. So if you have builds you want to hold on to, that's the thing for Protoss, is how many cards you have in your deck ready to play. And Hero's the one probably with the most, especially when it comes to live events, which Max Packs doesn't participate in. So, but it seems like he's showing those cards here. And that is very much explaining Dark's decision-making in the GSL series. And when I said, like, we're not watching Protoss versus Zerg, we're watching Hero versus Dark, I don't think I could have asked for a much better explanation. Don't tell me he went glaive to depths twice in a row. Is this a he'll never do it again sort of scenario? What is this, Zest? It's been so long. Zest, come back to us. Oh my god, he's going glaive to depths again. Well. The Void Ray. Gonna take out another Overlord, but Dark has several in production. What if I just continue making glaive? He won't expect it. The 2 gases here. That's a fake. Taking these 2 gases is Hero pretending like he's not going massive depths. Eventually he wants to use them, but you don't need. Look at his gas. He's got 200 in the bank. He doesn't need it for this build. He's literally, it's to hide it. Does he pull up from gas? I doubt it. And not at this point, but he's hiding this adept play. And now a Nidus network. Oh my god. He just goes for the shit. And then I did it again. All right. Well, it's still so many adepts. 13 adepts. Well, the Queen's gathering. The Zerglings, they don't have any upgrades. Not a great positioning for the Adepts to start. The drone's on the run. Hero actually has 57 probes behind them. So even if Dark cleans this up, which is looking quite difficult considering even the Spore Crawlers are conspiring against him. Oh. The drones have to fight, but it kind of looks like Hero's just gonna win. As I say it, the Zerglings clean up the Adepts, but there's more! God. Wow. This is... It's like a Neeb-esque. Just micro Adepts, alright? Just micro, bro. Wow. Well, this has done terrible, terrible damage. It's kind of crazy, and that's part of the reason Dark's called the final boss. Now, do I think Dark sandbagged this series, like intentionally played mediocre builds in order to give Hero a false sense of security? And the high pro... Here's the thing. Another player that Dark has also struggled in online tournaments and like weekly tournaments against is Beyond. Oh my god. And he just wins. So, no, I'm not done with my story. But Beyond, like the last 7, 8 times out of 10, give or take, has beaten Dark in online tournaments. And then they go to Dallas, $100,000 tournament on the line. Dark wins decisively 3-1. All right, he rises to the occasion, as do I. Moving on. But Hero just kind of throws the shade and keeps Dark in the dark about it. So this was kind of a clear-cut... That certainly explains the strong response to the Glaive Adepts in the GSL series. Kind of an unceremonious victory here. What happened on the... I actually want to see why it triggered a response like that. Oh, the Nidus was spotted. The Oracle came in. He's like, it's not happening. 34 to 44 workers. There's just not enough there. And Dark just taps it out. In this series, Hero, decisive 2-0. But when they would meet again a couple days later, Dark, a dominant 2-0 himself. So, I look forward to the next installment of this saga. But hopefully, this one made your day a little bit better. If you got the means and motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But otherwise, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. If you haven't yet checked out the second channel, by the way, for more content streams, and some of those other games that I've heard people are going to be interested in, as well as StarCraft 2 here, well, of course, every day. Either way, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Good luck, have fun, stay chill.